Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at how the LR Super Saiyan Goku Jr. and Super Saiyan Vegeta Jr. do in the Joined Forces Super Battle Road stage. So usually we do stuff like Extreme Super Battle Road stages, etc. But the Joined Forces Super Battle Road stage is pretty much as hard as any ESPR stage. They hit really hard in here. Like really hard, so I think it's a good enough stage to test them in, and because they're on so many limited categories, I think it's one of the stages where you might actually possibly use them. I can't really see you using them in Hybrid Saiyans. GT Heroes doesn't have a stage yet, neither does World Tournament, and Youth, to be honest with you, they're just not really, they don't fit the team. The team has a lot of really good options in Youth, and I just don't think that they're there. But they definitely can be used for Joined Forces. I mean, you can use them in any of the other stages if you want to, but yeah, I definitely think they're pretty good for the Joined Forces team. So just to recap them, in case you need a little recap, they are attack and defense of 100%. They'll gain 10% defense for every single attack that they fire. They get 2 ki for every rainbow orb. They are a World Tournament and a GT Heroes support. And they launch an additional attack that has a medium chance of becoming a super attack with 5 or more spheres. And they launch an additional attack that has a medium chance of becoming a super attack when you are facing a Goku's family or Vegeta's family enemy. So we've got them linked up here. They're going to pair up with the GT trio. Pretty nice partner for them. They share 5 links, which is really good. They also provide a buff to them, which pairs really nicely with the GT trio. The only problem is a little bit of ki, but we should be okay with that in general. So overall we have a pretty nice pairing there, and they should do well. We do have an item active, which is why they took single digits, but they should dish out at least 2 super attacks here. Because we are facing a Goku's family enemy, we should be able to get out an additional super attack. We didn't manage to, which is a little bit of a shame, but overall they still fired off 2 attacks, which increased their defense, and they did okay damage. The most important thing is testing how they tank with an item, and they seem to tank perfectly fine. They did a really good job. They tanked with an item, didn't take anything more than double digits, and that's okay for the beginning. Hopefully they'll improve over time. As they get more defense, as they get more ki, hopefully they get more orbs, they do more damage, all those sort of things that will help them really perform a whole bunch better, should realistically happen. So yeah, but they do look pretty solid so far. I think for a free-to-play unit they do pretty well. Like I said, Joined Forces is a pretty tough stage. I mean, you can see here we are taking quite a sizable amount of damage on type neutral attacks, on type disadvantage attacks. So yeah, it is definitely something that it's not the easiest stage in the world, and I definitely think it is something that you can get surprised by. It's definitely a tougher stage than most, because it's pretty straightforward, really. They're solid though. I like what they bring to the table. They do support, so units like the GT trio, who necessarily I wouldn't use in the stage, I definitely do want to use now. And they do share some decent links with a couple Joined Forces units, so they are quite a viable option. Like I said, they have a pretty versatile link set. They've got Saiyan Lineage for ki, Shocking Speed for ki, GT for ki, and Shattering the Limit for ki. So they've got 4 key links, so you should be able to link them up with someone. And they do have Super Saiyan and Saiyan Warrior Race, which are relatively common attack and key links. So you can definitely link them up with someone, or get them to do some decent damage with someone, or even just having them as a floater is also okay. They do lower attack on their 18 key, which is pretty helpful in SBR and ESBR. So yeah. Here they are facing a type disadvantage unit. We have no item active, so this isn't really a good place to test it, but I mean, they did have pretty decent defense after this. Hopefully we'll be able to see in the next fight how they do, but yeah, a pretty good solid first showing from them. Some decent damage. They tanked well with an item, which is the first checkpoint, so yes, tick yes. Do they tank okay with an item? Yes, they do. Okay, cool. That's like your first little checkpoint. So yeah, now we'll see how they do here. We are going to activate an Icarus, which is a little bit less damage reduction, so will be a little bit of a better indicator as to how they tank. Again, just really trying to get a feel for them more than anything. In most of these videos, you know, if they tank well with an item, that's kind of all you need from a unit. Like, I know a lot of people will think about no item runs and things like that, but you're trying to test the validity of a unit, you're not trying to test the OP-ness of a unit. So, if they can tank with an item, they're good for the stage, as long as they provide something that helps you beat the stage, whether it's damage, attack lowering, key, support, etc. But as long as they don't kill you, they should be able to do Saiyan. Now the thing is, a lot of people will sit, they'll exist, and they'll go, okay, well, like, the unit needs to be able to tank without an item. That is for specific units, and it's very good when units can do that, 100%. But for me, it's not an indicator of whether a unit is like valid for that stage. Like, I'm not gonna not use a unit because they can't tank without an item. That's just silly. To say they're not good for the stage is also just silly. As long as they can tank with an item, or to the point where you know that their tanking won't cost you the stage or the victory, then it's pretty good. So here we've got them. They do have an Icarus active. We should be able to get a good indication of how much damage they'll take. Again, double digits with an item, pretty decent. There was a type neutral attack in there. This is 2 units, so it is technically harder than the previous stage as well. So yeah, a pretty decent performance. Multiple super attacks, raising their defense, which is good. Also lowering the Trunks' attack on the 18 key, which is good. Lowering defense, which is also okay. We get a third little attack in there, so now our defense has gone up by 30,000, which is a pretty nice indicator. Overall, they did pretty decent damage with their 2 super attacks, and because you can build them full crit, you have a decent level of damage, just like the whole way through. So yeah, I would honestly say they're doing pretty well. They give the GT trio a buff as well, and the GT trio really wouldn't be that solid without the buff. So I think they're a really good partner, especially if you like have been struggling with the stage, but you do have the GT trio. There'll be a nice combo to run together. And yeah, I just think that, you know, overall, I think it's pretty good. I like it. I think it's good. I think it functions good. I really do enjoy it. So yeah, for me, I think they're a good unit. I think they proved that in the Gods of Destruction event. They were very solid there once they fully built up their defense. And even in shorter events where they can't, you know, build up all 7 attacks super quickly, they do build up to the point where they're more than fine. You pop 1 item, they'll tank single digits, they'll get another, you know, 30-40% defense by the next turn, depending on your orbs, and then they'll be more than good to go. So yeah, for me, I don't know, I'm very happy with their performance. I don't know what you guys think. You can let me know down in the comments, I'm sure. But for me, for a free-to-play unit, this is kind of all I ask. Decent damage, decent kit, decent performance, decent tankiness. And yeah, I think people do underestimate them. I think people do give them like a lot of like flack for no reason, because they've obviously just come out after, because they just come out after the JP like anniversary. I think a lot of people are comparing them to the units that came out there. But I think people need to understand that it was a joint celebration. They are probably a unit that's been on the back burner for a while. So the fact that they're useful for content is what's important. Like, units don't always have to be able to, especially free-to-play units, don't always have to be able to do the absolute end-game content. But as long as they can help new players, like a new player that picks up this unit is going to have a 120% lead for World Tournament and GT Heroes, which is okay. World Tournament's a bit weird, but yeah, GT Heroes is good. They're going to have a support for that category. They're going to have a unit that can, as you can see, do more than fine in pretty much everything but the end game content. So yeah, I just think they're really solid. I think they're really good, and yeah, I don't really think we need to see too much more. So yeah, I think we'll call it here. There's no real point seeing them tank or do anything else. I think they've done a really solid job, and I think they did prove that they can bring things to the table. And yeah, for me, yeah, I'm quite happy with their performance. So that's pretty much going to be it from me, guys. If you enjoyed the video, of course, I would really appreciate it if you leave a like on the video. Obviously, it helps me out quite a bit. It, really helps out the channel, etc. But yeah, and if you have anything to say, you can leave a comment, because I always do like replying to those, and I really appreciate the thoughts and opinions. But that's going to be it from me. Bye.